I'm addressing voters. I'm addressing the Prime Minister of Britain, the voters of Britain, the voters of Canada. As I am a candidate for POTUS here in the United States. Finally, we have a playing field that is ready. And once again, I'm going to break out what I have that I've been working on for decades. Once again, put items up to the table. The tactical items for our future are to address, as the Prime Minister of Britain has, to open up one generation further, to deal with offshore in new ways. For those who had concerns, I would say yes. I have looked at the static problem, dealing with mass static buildup that is an atmospheric problem that can bring forth lots of extra machine gun lightning, which is a problem. I've addressed that. We can absorb all of that. We can address that. We can even address it worldwide. The key of having great treaty. First, we can start with Britain, with Canada. We can bring forth and share technology respective to getting the job done. We can plant more trees than are being cut down. We have safe chemicals, substances that will help us grow forest at an incredibly accelerated rate. In fact, these items are so safe, they've been readily used to grow fruits and vegetables for decades. Again, I will state that great plan to bring an understanding to a new water power situation. With power, we will be able to build power plants throughout the United States. I propose in treaty they also should be done in Canada, even Britain. Here in the United States, these effective items will be owned by the citizens. Effectively, we know the winning formula. We know the 100% win-win formula for power plants. This effectively means that we can engineer situations across the country similar to what other people have done, as I have engineered the item to deal with power plants that will bring forth a $900 a month income by virtue of residuals to each citizen in each area segment in question. This respectively means that people are going to be stockholders. You're going to get residuals. These are permanent stocks. Now, the way we do this is a brand new way of understanding back-toe loan programs. Understanding new wholesale extensions directly from the Fed. This money can be achieved at less than 1%, while utilizing completion guarantor insurance that is guaranteed by the fact of Social Security. We're talking an extremely minute amount. The amount of money that you would need in ratio statistical average per person in each sector is generally less than 1%, except for one thing. It's an insurance policy, a completion bond insurance policy. So once again, this is a back-toe guarantee that it's there. That means we're good for it. So technically, We don't actually have to pull a dime out of our pockets. And the only difference would mean that there would be a cost overrun, which would be handled by a newly restructured loan. We know that co-op electric companies have been built successfully worldwide and definitely within the United States. And many of them pay $600 a month. They're all over the country. I've even gone to them and looked at them in Arkansas. So this forward moving item once again is respecting. It's finally showing respect for citizens and granting an understanding that each citizen has power. The respect of understanding that the Social Security account is the largest fund in the history of the world means it is the biggest, most solid fund in the history of the world, but it's time for us to understand how to use it the right way for 100% guaranteed investment items only. This is forward moving. Everybody needs power. The demand for future power is enormous. We're going to meet that challenge on a scale that is mind-boggling. As for water, I have the largest plan addressing the water needs that has ever been proposed. Respectively, one of the most logical areas addresses a problem. The Arkansas and Mississippi rivers overflow frequently. People die, they drown. Homes are damaged. This is an ongoing item. There is massive surpluses in fresh water that basically are not needed, and people are dying from too much water. This water flows down, goes into the Gulf of Mexico in such a rush it actually does damage to sea life. It actually does damage. Having this in hand, engineering a situation to harvest that water is the ideal situation. To be able to effectively harvest this water and bring forth a mathematical equation in shares and residuals. Residuals for Arkansas, Louisiana, and other areas will be reflective. In Arkansas, we're talking about $1,000 a month income. That's $12,000 a month per citizen that's deemed head of household. That means if you're 19 years old and you're single and you live by yourself, you're a head of household. You will have a $12,000 a year income from this water project area alone. This is going to go a long way to building new lakes, new special holding areas. We will bring water to areas that need it. We will even bring water to the desert. We will restore areas with forest where forests have even been long since gone. In the proposal of this mass development, I believe it is completely logical to address a mass treaty. A new treaty of friendship between Britain, Canada, and the United States. We can address the fire problems in North America. I believe Canada has already showed some willingness, at least many of the citizens have, respective to this plan. That addressing the fire problem definitely means we need water. This also brings about a new understanding to be able to protect wildlife in a way that's never been possible. To address those remote areas where wildlife literally was dying of thirst. It is the saddest thing to go out hiking in remote areas to find wildlife that simply died due to a lack of water. Well, we can go a long way towards a permanent fix. We can become stewards once again. We can address again returning portions of land to people they belong to. We can address making land available, small portions of land, to parties who want to build their own home or even a vacation piece of property. This is all very doable. And the concept of having people returning to stewardship means that they will have to return to responsibilities. And many people state that they are up to this task, that this is not a problem. Working with many of the new technologies that are coming out and emerging are incredibly promising to be able to manage a balanced situation with wildlife, to be able to bring better monitoring, better medical care, to bring forth new science dealing with sonic, acoustical attraction, acoustical herd driving, acoustical warning barrier systems to control wildlife to stay within the parametered areas. This technology is enormously effective, even though there are very few people who know about this technology. There are many other ways and facets to use items to again become stewards, accept the responsibility of direct participation to help manage wildlife. The concept of saying, just leave it alone is like throwing all the problems up in the air, walking away, letting them hit the ground and say, oh, God's going to take care of all of it. Well, I believe that God wants us to become better stewards. We need to accept those responsibilities. We need to bring forth an understanding that when I talk about restoring water, I'm talking about moving water more than halfway across the country. I'm talking about bringing water into New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, and many other states as well. It is the right thing to do. It makes sense. It is financially sound. To bring forth multiple plans that will pay citizens, give them stock, pay them residuals, while opening up new land opportunities for new construction of homes, is a logical and a solid way to do things. As essentially as we go when we build, in general, the cost of building a new home, if you do it yourself, has the ratio understanding of being built wholesale, 70 cents on the dollar of the retail value. Historically, the government prints that 30%, while affording citizens on a wholesale scale, nationwide, to say, once again, you have the right to be guaranteed a new construction loan, to even give yourself a job. This is standing up strongly and saying your labor is forever bankable and no discrimination against labor shall be allowed. This group philosophy and understanding of mass purchase power, mass development power, is the way to go. We have done it before. But as I restructure, that first the citizens get their stock and become the parties to be restored, instead of the government harvesting the money to use how they see fit and listen to people crying about squandering, the money will go directly into the hands of the citizens. And as citizens disperse this money, there will be taxes paid, there will be new items purchased, we will have mass acceleration of products and our economy. As I bring forth this is only the smallest part of the plan. Decades of work building AI to be able to work with this and deal with an incredibly intricate mass economic modeling software system. This will be moved forward. This is the way to go. To be able to do calculations 100,000 times faster than any human being can do by themselves today. For engineering a better future. This will help us deal with things such as problems with fair wage understanding, dealing with the variances of the minimum wage have serious problems. There are very serious problems for consistency and fairness. The plan I'm looking at, while being able to implement the largest AI systems in history, will be able to look and understand the practical positive power of manufacturing, turning out products, and the need to respect and guarantee and protect supply line science to equalize and guarantee continued production. These types of statistical understanding and analysis also bring forth an understanding to protect labor. This is to say we can put an automatic bracketing system that will understand that those who are greed-driven, if they begin to raise prices, the only thing that's going to happen is automatic equalization of wage differential adjustments will occur. Putting forth a system that is so fast-acting that the system can adjust faster than people can rebracket, as well as identifying who the parties are that have decided to continuously use greed. Obviously, people have said for years it's not the laborers raising prices. They have a hard enough time getting a raise. This brings about a brand new understanding in business physics that clearly separate the differences between good and great businesses that are manufacturing, building longevous products that need no surprises for supply chain situations. They need a consistency. We can achieve this. But as for people who are predatorial practitioners, well, we've got a new thing coming. No money from the Fed will be allowed to be loaned to predatorial practitioners. This country does not print money to loan to people to make takeovers of companies, destroy people's retirement accounts, and rip businesses apart for a quick buck. Effectively, these types of loan leveraging options will be permanently banned. The enhancement of solid labor, the enhancement of solid new asset creators being backed is the future to continue to build hard assets and build this economy. The rapid recovery design that I have should be able to completely pay off the entire national debt in just 3 years. Yes, in just 3 years. I can understand many people are saying these are phenomenal numbers, but it's absolutely real. Mass scale restoration to recognize labor as bankable changes everything. Guaranteeing that every citizen can build their own roof over their own head restores us back to the original constitutional formation of the nation. These were items that were self-evident, and we must make them self-evident again. We must remove the barriers and walls put there by people who are either too greedy or too incompetent to be stewards. The mass creativity of decades of AI work brings forth the most solid opportunity for max production that the world has ever seen. Among resource materials, understanding the buildup that happened in World War II, even just prior to World War II, how this nation moved towards addressing problems and moved rapidly to address what needed to be done to achieve those goals. We can do this again, but this time we have something different. There's no reason for great war. We don't have to build a bunch of things that will be destroyed. We can build things that are longevous, things that will help us with our lifestyles for hundreds of years. In restoring this type of philosophy, our Constitution once again, the contract being restored is the path to success. Restoring and addressing items such as meat, because we need meat. Understanding that we have to immediately, in the next 6 years, figure out where we're going to come up with 100 million cows. Whatever is required to achieve this, whatever money is required, my administration will make sure that it fights as hard as necessary to make this happen. We have the possibility of recognizing that way back just prior to World War II, we needed to address the need for power, so we did. Unfortunately, the quick methods of building power generation left us effectively destroying a salmon industry that at that time was worth $4 billion a year. Today, that equates out to $40 billion a year. That's $400 billion in a decade. We now have ultra AI sciences that are just going to get better and better and better. Ultra engineering sciences are going to be able to do the work of tens and thousands of people. 100 years of engineering work that a building full of people would take to do can now be done by computers that would sit in your closet. This means that we can have our cake and eat it too. We can re-engineer brand new management systems to restore salmon along the entire west coast of the United States. We can do this. It's very doable. Why? Let me give you reason number one. We need the meat. Let me give you reason number two. It's the right thing to do. And virtually every reason after that is still tied to it's the right thing to do. Restoring the contract of this nation, restoring people's livelihood, restoring them to be able to use their hands once again is the solution. It's time to stop the legislation that has been blocking the minds of people and cutting the hands off of people from being able to do what is logical and in true stewardship. I want to thank you for your time, and I look forward to more productive talks to guarantee that every citizen's labor is always bankable. Michael Crosby for POTUS 2024.